Welcome to our next episode of Antique Overland. This week, I want to explore the history of the Stonebridge Folding Lantern. If you search the internet, it's not very hard to find information on this piece, and I know other creators have done videos on the lantern, but this one I take some personal and particular interest in. I found my Stonebridge lantern at a rummage sale for about $5, close to probably 13 years ago, well before I got into this period of living history. It was just another household curiosity that fit my Addams Family chic decorative style. Well, no longer is it doing yeoman's service as an emergency light artfully displayed in a useful location on an occasional table, and now resides permanently in one of our camp boxes. I don't need to go in depth on all the neat features of this lantern or tell you how compact and cool it is. You probably already know that. But what I'm guessing you didn't know is the history that surrounds it. It's easy to say get excited about the fact that the Army issued the lantern during World War I, or that people like noted outdoorsman Horace Kephart touted the attributes of the Stonebridge. But history doesn't happen in a vacuum, and that certainly wasn't set by chance that Stonebridge became as popular as it did. So join us as we take a look at the Stonebridge Folding Lantern and the really interesting history behind it. Charles Henry Stonebridge, a native of New York, was born in March of 1861. His interest in outdoor recreation must have come early, as by the 1880s he was listed among the proponents of bicycling. Like so many other inventors, Stonebridge was well on his way to making a name for himself in the outdoor industry by the turn of the century, ultimately having 19 patents to his name and 2 separate outdoor manufacturing companies. He grew his business and his influence beyond that of the now famous folding lantern, beginning with his first patent dated November 27, 1900, for the first iteration of his collapsible lantern, followed by a dated patent for August 4, 1903, for a collapsible lantern casing, both of which were sold directly through Abercrombie & Fitch, beginning no later than 1906. His subsequent patents included one for a reworked collapsible lantern, dated September 29, 1903, one for a collapsible box on May 24, 1904, a sparking device dated March 28, 1905. Stonebridge followed that with a patent for another collapsible box on November 20th of 1906, which looks decidedly like the real base pattern for our most recognizable Stonebridge lantern, which was then patented on June 8, 1908. His affinity for bicycling evidently hadn't faded, as he patented a bicycle tender on October 30th, 1909. From the beginning in 1906, we see a differentiation between his companies and their products. All the lanterns and lantern-related items were sold under the name the Stonebridge Folding Lantern Company, which included the aforementioned, as well as his July 12, 1910 patent for a cylindrical folding lantern. That lasted until 1915. The camping equipment was listed under C.H. Stonebridge Manufacturers and included a patent for April 4, 1911 for a tent, a second for the same date for a reinforcement to the top of the tent preventing tearing, a September 7, 1915 patent for yet another folding lantern design change, followed by one for February 13, 1917 for a cooking device, 2 on October 15, 1918 for a sleeping bag and a blanket roll, and another dated March 25, 1919 for a folding lantern and the final lantern, and the last one dated September 30th, 1919 for a pneumatic mattress. Stonebridge wasn't just known for his lantern or his camping goods, however. As a prominent New Yorker and outdoor enthusiast, he managed to find himself in positions related to the founding of the Bronx Zoo, and within a circle of prominent conservationists of their day, Ernest Raines, William Hornaday, Madison Grant, and Theodore Roosevelt, who together formed the American Bison Society in 1905. Stonebridge would eventually become the secretary of the society. The American Bison Society, or ABS, was formed in response to the studies reported on by Hornaday that only 1,000 bison remained wild in North America. In response to his published studies, the American Bison Society worked with the Bronx Zoo to reintroduce bison to Oklahoma in 1907. Following a successful reintroduction of a species, the first in North American history, the ABS would go on to petition Congress to establish a bison sanctuary in Montana. They would also work successfully to reintroduce bison to South Dakota. Their conservation efforts continued until 1935 when they deemed the public herds stable enough that their work could be completed. It's not surprising that Stonebridge got involved with the ABS. He was, after all, a notable figure in preservation and outdoor recreation circles in New York and elsewhere, including that of the Campfire Club of America, which was one of, if not the most noteworthy conservation and outdoor recreation clubs of its day, having been founded in 1897 with the intent of bringing together prominent outdoorsmen, naturalists, and those interested in perpetuating outdoor skills. Stonebridge would have fit right in alongside other noted members of the period, including Theodore Roosevelt, Gifford Pinchot, the first head of the U.S. Forest Service, both David Abercrombie and Ezra Fitch, who would sell Stonebridge's products in their catalog, Buffalo Bill Cody, best known for his Wild West shows, but friend and physical neighbor to Stonebridge in Wyoming, whose acreage about 20 miles outside present-day Cody bordered Buffalo Bill's Wyoming property line, George Shields, editor of the American outdoor magazine Recreation, and Ernest Seton, who was one of the founders of the Boy Scouts of America, who coincidentally became early and ardent adopters of the Stonebridge Lantern. So what made Stonebridge lanterns so popular, besides the fact that it was collapsible, relatively lightweight, and evidently easily marketable in certain circles? It was a civilian gadget picked up by the Army and elements of the mining industry for its reliability. It came in 4 variations over the course of its production runs, including tin with glass sides, weighing 1 1/4 pounds and selling at 30 cents each, galvanized with mica sides weighing 13 ounces for $1 each, and aluminum or brass, each with mica sides weighing 4 1/4 ounces and costing somewhere between $1.50 and $2.50 depending on the advertisement. And according to the company's ads, you could arrange bulk pricing. Stonebridge took care of everything, the candles as well, marketing the lantern's use with their specifically made hydraulic-pressed, odorless candles, which they also claimed didn't drip, measuring roughly 4 inches by 7/8 inches in diameter, which they priced at 30 to 35 cents per dozen. They also marketed the lantern case for 79 cents each. Imagine that bulk pricing option was quite attractive when marketing a product to the Boy Scouts or the mining industry. As for the military, everyone seems to like to focus on the lanterns used by the medical corps. Those lanterns were and are still easily recognizable by the embossed caduceus on their peak. That's all well of note, but the Army contracted with Stonebridge for more than just medical department lanterns. They were in fact issued in several military departments, including the Signal Corps and the Commissary Department. Outside the medical department, however, the lanterns don't appear to have been specially marked. They were, on the other hand, often painted black. Ours is one of those painted trench lanterns, blacked out to prevent reflection. So what happens to Stonebridge? I'm not really sure. I was able to track him and his products through about 1930 when the advertisements start to drop off, and he's moved his residence to St. Lucie, Florida, where he's pursuing a life as an orchardist. It's not surprising that his lanterns ceased to be produced by the late 1920s. Battery-operated flashlights were already more than a decade old at that point, and candle lanterns had gone out of fashion. Stonebridge design is still available, however, with reproductions being made by at least 3 sources: Garrett Wade, Kings County Tool, and Hope Lantern. They vary greatly in their authenticity, and I would recommend staying with an original if you really want one. Thanks for watching this episode of Antique Overland. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like the content. We'll see you next time.